You want to start your mask by cutting out your pattern and then cutting out a different color that's going to go on the inside. So we now have our colored fabric here, our backing, and then right along here where you're going to be breathing, you can either use this fusible liner or you can use this thick batting. So my first masks were made with this batting, but it is a little harder to breathe through. So probably in the winter time, this would be really good. I've been lately using this, and this is a lot thinner, but it gives you that same form for your. So you're gonna iron this on the back side of your fabric to give you a stiff backing. This is gonna help you keep that 3D form. It's also gonna give you one more layer of protection. So it's the back, and this is the front, and then we'll just clip these corners so that we'll have a nice, clean pattern to be able to sew with. Okay, so next you're going to put your right sides together. So I have the right side of my designed fabric and I have my backing. So I'm going to pin these together. I'll be sewing from here all the way around, back to here. Leave this opening so you can turn it inside out. You want a back stitch here. I'm going to take and pivot right here. No need to back stitch these corners. And you'll stop at this pin right here. And you definitely want to backstitch it. So I used a contrasting color so you can see what it looks like sewn. And then I have noticed that if you will clip these, each one of these points, it allows for your mask to really lay better. I'm going to take the pins out and turn it inside out. This is what one side looks like, and then if I flip it over, this is what the other side looks like. So now I'll turn it right side out. I've noticed that if I take this paintbrush and I stick it inside of this slit right here, that I can just go in and poke each one of the corners. Follow that along. And that allows me to get really sharp corners all the way around. And you'll have this opening right here. So you're going to top stitch over that. So then I'm going to press it so that I have a nice flat surface to work with. You can see my little lining right here. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going for protection, not perfection. Right, and then I do want to make sure that looks good. So I'll iron that down. And then I'm going to top stitch all the way down each one of these sides. But I'm also going to be sewing down this line as well. That's where my fold is going to be, and it makes a nice guideline, number one, and number two, it makes for a nice fold in the fabric. So I drew these lines, so I'm going to sew here along the edge these two middle lines and then this edge right here. And there's no need to go all the way around here because you're going to be doing a top stitch there in a moment. We have each one of our edges sewn plus the two down the middle. And now I'm going to fold on this line that I sewed right here, and that's connecting these two corners. So I'm going to iron that forward. And pin it. And then I'm going to top stitch right along the edge of here on both sides. So I'll take my other side, fold it down, pin that just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to sew along this line and this line. So now what we're going to do is take our earpieces and we're going to pin them in, and when we sew along this edge, we're going to catch these earpieces. So I'm going to take and make sure they're tucked in here really well. And I'm going to pin each one of the corners. About 1 inch inside. So now I'll take it over to the machine and also align right here, catching the edge, and right here, catching the edge. As you can see, I sewed right down on this edge as close as I could and still catching all of the layers of fabric. I'll remove all my pins. And when I open this up, you'll be able to see that 3-dimension. So this is what it looks like. You can see how I've caught the edge of my earpieces right here. That's what it looks like on the back. And that's what's going to give you that form, that 3D form. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, this is going to make an N. So you can see the N shape, up, down, up. I'm going to pin this right here, and I'm going to pin all 4 sides. And then I'm going to sew down here, up here, pivot down here, up here, and down here. Right? And then as you can see, that's what will hold your mask open. I'll repeat the same on the other side. Crossing over. Making that N. I'm ready to take it over to the machine and sew. So I just got back from the machine. As you can see, I sewed from here, back stitched, down, pivot, come up, come down, come up, come down, back stitch. And there you have it. That's what the back looks like. Just clip your little extra strings here. That's what one side looks like. I'll go back and do the other side. I'm going to try to do this and not have my hands in the way so you can see how this goes. So start here. Back stitch. And forward. Pivot your machine with the needle down. Sew to the corner with your needle down, lift up. I give this string a little bit of a tug so it's tight across there. I'm taking that pen out because I want to make sure this makes that perfect in. Backspace, come to the end. Trim my string. And then you can see